Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pie Guy and Brodeur. One voice, two minds. I'm your host, Pie Guy, and today we're talking all about the word initiative. That's right. Will you take initiative today in your life? Well, we're going to find out. As always, though, on these episodes, I'm circling back with the one, the only Brodeur of Brodeurland, Mr. Brodeur. Give us a shout out. Hey, everybody. Hey, Pie Guy. That's right. We are talking all about taking the initiative and not waiting for opportunity to fall in your lap. Definitely not. So don't wait for somebody to tell you to start. It's time to get up, get trying, knocking on those doors of opportunity. That's the key today. Well, Mr. Brodeur, I'm looking forward to this episode. And like you said, it's time to get started. And I don't want to wait for you to tell me to get started after hearing what you just said. So let me take the initiative and start our conversation because I need to take the initiative and slice into this word of the week. So without further ado, Mr. Brodeur, let's jump on in. And I'm going to ask you this first question right here, like we always do. Mr. Brodeur, what does it mean to take the initiative? What does that look like in my life, in all of our lives? Sure thing, Pie Guy. Here's my Brodeurland definition for initiative. You gotta be motivated to do things. You gotta be willing to act. You gotta take charge to get things done on your own. You see, first, you have to find and know your why, like we talked about in our previous episode on diligence. That's right, Mr. Brodeur. You talked all about your why and why you're doing this podcast with me, why you're really motivated to make a difference in the students, in the people you reach. And so I definitely remember you talking about that in our episode Diligence. Yeah, Pie Guy, and that why can help you get motivated. Sure, people, movies, books, stories, they can motivate you. But when you connect your why to them, that motivation tends to stick around because it becomes relevant to your life. So, get to know your why. Why is it that you want to achieve that goal? Why is it that you want to embark on that mission, reach those dreams? That way, you can be fueled up to act and take charge of your life so you can start working on those goals and those dreams that you have. You see, I love this quote right here. It says, initiative is to success what a lighted match is to a candle. You see, to light a match, you have to have the spark. You have to have friction. You have to take action. That right there is initiative. Anyone can have an idea pop in their head, right? You can have knowledge, of course, but you have to take the idea, that knowledge, and put forth that action so you can see that growth and success in your life. Pretty much, you got to get your feet wet. You got to dive in. Taking initiative, of course, is scary. It's not easy. You're going to have bumps along the road, friction, right? And that just makes me think of my debt-free journey and the video I have on Brodeurland with Dave Ramsey and me doing that debt-free scream on his show. You see, my wife and I, we were going to have our first kid. And the spark, that friction was, we got to get out of this debt. We got to try to give ourselves a little bit of a pay raise because if not, one of us was planning on staying home with the kid, with our son Oliver, but we wouldn't have been able to live on one paycheck. So we didn't wait around and allow opportunity to come our way. No, we said, you know what? Let's tackle the student loans and maybe this house and our mortgage and give ourselves, like I said earlier, a little bit of a pay raise. You see, friction, bumps along the way, they present us problems. Sure. But here's the deal. Will you take the initiative and use it as fuel to light a spark, or are you just going to allow the bumps to stop any flame from burning. You don't want that to happen. Yes, definitely not, Mr. Broder. And I like what you said right there. Friction bumps, we all are going to face them. But like you said, are you going to use it as that motivation, the building blocks, or just allow more excuses? And I like what you said. Don't allow those excuses, right? Let that flame burn. Use it as motivation. Yeah, Pie Guy. And even along our journey, we had friction. We had a car literally die on us. The transmission just went completely out. Had to get a new car. An AC unit went out. Well, we had to get that. It was the middle of July, August, and our son was just turning 1. We were like, oh my gosh, we got to get this fixed. Our washing machine went out. We tried fixing it. Still, we had to get a brand new one. And so we had bumps along the way. We tried to do what we could, but eventually, you know what? We had to replace these items. Now, I could have taken those hits and said, you know what? That's it. I'm done. We tried. But I wasn't going to let that slow us down, right? I was going to allow this little bit of friction and use it to help me move forward, get me more energized to find a way to make up that money and get back on track. Talk about having a rainy day fun, right? Especially with some of those items, and still trying to put as much on that mortgage, as much on that debt as possible. Because I was like, man, that money could have been a year less that we would have had to pay that debt, right? So it just energized. It made me go, this is one more step to jump up and keep myself pushing forward. Wow, Mr. Broder. So instead of allowing the bumps to discourage you, you used it more as motivation to keep persevering forward. That's correct, Pie Guy. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, all these words of the week, they go together. We have to embrace the mistakes and be reflective. We had to be resilient to those setbacks along the way. And of course, we had to persevere forward with the help of taking the initiative and not waiting for someone to give us the green light. All these words of the week, they're tying together. And I'm hoping you guys that are listening can really see this as we really tackle each word in each of these episodes. They're all linked together. And with more and more, you become closer to becoming that best version of yourself. Of course, being that best version of yourself is always a lifelong battle, right? You can always be better than you were the day before. That is so true, Mr. Broder. And like you said right there, and I love how you keep coming back to that idea of these words of the week are all linked up. Keep using them as building blocks and extra muscles to keep building yourself up. Yes, most definitely, Pie Guy. And remember, that friction, that struggle is going to help you grow and make that flame come to life, whatever it is that you're trying to go for. That way your flame can shine forth not only for you, but for those people around you. You see, you can light matches all day, but the problem is really quickly they're going to go out. So you got to take that flame and you got to really quickly get it to something like a candle so it can burn brightly and for some time. Here's the deal, Mr. Broder. That candle, though, it's going to burn out eventually. I mean, especially those birthday candles, they burn out quite quickly. So I'm hoping you're thinking of like a thicker candle or something that's going to be a little bit larger. That's true, Pie Guy. But here's the deal. If you want to get more into this candle analogy, metaphor, whatever you want to call it, look at it this way. You can take that flame and you can pass it on to another candle, another person, or your next task, your next checkpoint towards your goal, that mission you're trying to strive towards, right? That way it can keep burning brighter as you grow, as you breathe in that success or that breakthrough. That right there is the power of initiative. But that's only the beginning. That's only the spark. Pun intended right there. Ah, Mr. Brodeur, you and your silly puns. Anyways, let me ask you this. So you're just saying that's only the beginning. That's the spark. So what's next then? We got our spark, but how do you evolve and allow this initiative word to really resonate more in our lives? Well, great question, Pie Guy. And I'm going to jump now into this other quote by Milton Benet. And Milton says this: if opportunity doesn't knock, you got to build a door. Here's the deal. So many times we find ourselves waiting for opportunities to come our way. I mean, I can't tell you how many times as a kid, even as an adult, I'm thinking, maybe something will land in my lap, please. But waiting for that time to occur, waiting for that person to help us out, sometimes we find ourselves waiting too long and it never comes. You gotta quit waiting for that time, right? It's time to start doing. Take that initiative. It's all about putting things into motion, taking actions. Like I said earlier, getting your feet wet, trying something out. There are so many times I can remember where people said they would help me with one of my Brodeurland ideas, projects, even my books I wrote. But if I waited on them, I might have never got around to finishing them, let alone starting them, or it taking double the time. Wait a minute, Miss Brodeur. So you had a lot of people let you down along the way? Is that what you're saying? Well, Pie Guy, not necessarily that. Sure, there are people that are going to let you down and not come through with you. That's life in anything you do. But also, there are times that I'm ready to try something. And some people aren't ready yet because they can't really see my vision. So here's the deal. You have to go out there. You got to get started. You got to make waves. You got to make something more tangible, right? So they can see it. They can hold it. They can see your vision a little bit more. And then eventually that help comes because they see that vision. They see it coming alive and they can really be on that same wavelength with you. That is building your own door and then knocking. All right, Mr. Brodeur. So let me ask you this. What is an example you can think of when you had to, I guess, build your own door? Yeah, sure thing, Pie Guy. Here's an example I can think of. And it was creating my own book. I wrote 2 books, right? Luke the Leaf and Stay True, Shine Through. My issue was I could not illustrate. I mean, I could spend time, but to be honest, I'm not artistic. And would I be able to keep it consistent throughout all the pages of the book? And I wasn't sure how to actually print the books. So I couldn't really find help anywhere. And I would try different outlets and try different things and poke around and, feel people out. But I just felt like I wasn't making any headway. So over the summer, I spent some time using different platforms, AI, editing softwares. And sure enough, I had a breakthrough because I was willing to get my feet wet. I was willing to try. I was willing to get something moving. And I was then able to make 2/3 of the book illustrations for Luke the Leaf. That's when I was like, all right, I can finish this. So the next couple of nights I worked on it, got it all finished. And then I said, okay, how do I get this printed? Well, my mom used Walgreens to make photo books for us, right? She would take photos throughout the year, put it into a little photo album and get it printed through Walgreens. So I thought, well, can I try to do the same thing and make a book like that? So I asked her to help me get started on that, right? And that's when my vision came alive. And because it was alive, and because she could see the pictures, and because she had this expertise, then she was able to help me. And I was able to piece it all together. And bam, my book came alive. And then that flame energized me to get my other book done. Because I was like, okay, now I know how to do this. I got the help. I made it real. I brought it to life. I made it more tangible, right? But I did not wait for the opportunity to just land in my lap. I had to build my own door and figure it out, get something started. Now, here's the deal, Pie Guy. Uh-oh. What's the deal, Mr. Brodeur? Well, here it is. So, Pie Guy, it's also scary. And of course, it takes courage to do and take the initiative, right? If nothing is happening and coming your way, you know what? It's time to build your own door, your own idea, your own thoughts to really see what you can do. And you know what? Take some action. Like I said, taking the initiative is all about the adventure, and that takes courage, and that's scary. It's that spark that starts your adventure. As the adventure moves forward, you will be able to reflect back and see how far you are now in the growth that has occurred because you were willing to knock at the door, build your door, do something, put something in motion. So you could become that best version of yourself and for your goals to really come to life. Spectacular, Mr. Brodeur. I love hearing that story of you creating your books, and you definitely took initiative and built your own door. And like you said, people may have not seen your vision at first, but once you were able to get things started and really create these images and brought it to life, your mom and others could see that vision and really help. Yes, totally right, Pie Guy. And the key is, again, to start trying to do something, anything. It's choice time. It's your choice, but you can't wait. Well, Mr. Brodeur, we're getting to that time when we got to start wrapping things up. So is there anything you would like to add about our word initiative before we have to go? Wow, Pie Guy, is it really that time? It is, Mr. Brodeur, and you know what? I totally lost track of time as I was really getting into your stories, whether it was about the book, your debt-free scream, and our conversation. Well, Pie Guy, I will finish by talking about this quote, and it goes like this. Hold up a mirror and ask what you are capable of doing and what you really care about. Take the initiative and don't wait for someone else to ask you to act. The whole idea of taking initiative, again, is you got to start now. And you may wonder, what if I'm trying something new and I'm not really good at it or I have a little experience? And my answer to that is pretty much this, Pie Guy. Perfect. You know why? Why is that, Mr. Brodeur? Please elaborate, because you said perfect. I don't really think that's perfect if you don't have too much experience. Well, you see, Pie Guy, the expert in anything was once a beginner. Your current circumstances, they don't determine how far you will go. It just tells you where you are going to start. You have to start somewhere. Because you see, we're all capable. We're all worthy. You're strong. You're worthy. You matter. You just need to start believing in yourself right now. Tell yourself right now, yes, I can. I can. Don't wait for someone to give you the green light, to tell you to start, to tell you, okay, I give you permission. No, dive in right now to get things in motion. It's choice time. So what are you waiting for? Get up, build your door, do something, because initiative is the spark towards your mission of success. Spectacular, Mr. Brodeur. Thanks again for sharing your stories and your ideas on how we can take initiative in our lives and how that looks. Now, I feel fired up and I'm ready to build my door and break down my barriers in my life. Time to really get my spark going, right? So, anyways, like I always tell you guys, and as I sign off, stay infinite, my friends. And Mr. Brodeur, time to send us off in style. Sure thing. So, always remember, you guys make each day a special day by just you being you. There's no one in the whole world like you except you, and you know what? We like you just the way you truly are. It's good that you exist, but you got to go out there. You got to take the initiative. You got to start right now. It's choice time. Get up. light that spark, feel that friction, and start getting things moving so you can become that best version of yourself. So until next time, Broder out. Peace.